I'm sharing something pretty vulnerable with you because I suspect many of you are in the same boat. And while I always enjoy your company, I'd hate for you to take as long to get to shore as I have. Fair warning, I will be using a lot of metaphors in today's video. And if you'd like to change it into a drinking game, I fully support you. But maybe with water, since we're financially responsible now. For those of you playing along at home, I'll put the final metaphor count below in the comments. I have believed my whole life that everything happens for a reason. You hear that all the time, some version of that. That belief has carried me through some of the most stressful times in my life. Those times when my body was in full survival mode, my cortisol pumping, my nervous system on edge, a complete wreck. That philosophy and my faith got me through. My thinking, everything happens for a reason, made me really believe in those times that I would be strong enough to handle whatever it is. If it's supposed to happen, then it's all going to work out in the end. And it did. I'm here. I made it through. I survived. But here's the thing I didn't realize about survival mode. It doesn't just protect you from the stuff it was meant to protect you from. It protects you from everything. It keeps you very myopic, focused on only the thing right in front of you. When that tiger is chasing you is not the time to be thinking, oh, I should meal prep for the week. Sorry, tiger, sir. I need to get some good sleep. Bad kitty. I need to focus on savings. Survival mode keeps you focused on just surviving. So for years, my finances were on autopilot because I was already at capacity. I made it so that everything got automatically paid so that if I went brainstem, it all got taken care of. I remember something, I think maybe it was my condo, could have been my car, I don't remember. But something wouldn't let me immediately start auto pay and I had a complete cow, at least in my mind. I was panicked that meant I had to remember to do that first payment. And that's ridiculous because it's not like that's hard, but that's how bad I was, how stressed out and how much I could not use my executive functioning reliably. Somewhere underneath that layer of everything's gonna happen the way it should, everything will be okay, was me giving myself permission to not look. If it's gonna be okay, I don't have to look at it right now. I got really comfortable with avoidance. Avoidance is one of my favorite coping mechanisms. And that is what I did with my finances well after the tiger stopped chasing me. I knew it, and I couldn't face it, or I wouldn't face it. The problem with not facing it, or not looking, is that things don't just stay still. Debt doesn't sit there with 0% interest. Decisions don't get made. Things don't get returned. Things might be a little late if you were supposed to remember to pay it, like your car tags. Just like even $20 extra, that is wasting money. And that's the kind of things that happen behind the scenes while I wasn't looking. I am in debt. I am in the embarrassed to say the number out loud kind of debt. I am not saying the number, but I am saying I am in debt out loud because my debt grew in the darkness without the light of reality. And I'm saying it out loud because I am sure there's a lot of you that are out there with the same problem and you think it's just you. It is not just you, and you are not alone. I'm not fully on the other side of this either. I'm somewhere in the middle. I haven't fixed it, but something has changed for me. I've been healing, like really healing, and that does something interesting that survival mode wouldn't allow. It lets you see things that survival mode kept hidden. I knew it then. I couldn't face it. I did not have the bandwidth. Now I can. I mean, it's still ew. It reminds me of one of the hardest things about getting back in shape. That first month where everything you do hurts and you remember how strong you used to be, how far you could walk, how far you could hike or run, how much you could lift, that you used to be able to do the splits. Whatever that is, you remember that. but now you're like a jellyfish. It is really hard to look at what you've been ignoring at first because you have to come face to face with your broke jellyfish self. But what I see right now, as I've decided to take a look at my finances, is this. The decisions I'm making today are going to affect when I retire. The decisions I'm making right now are going to affect the rest of my life. This is no longer theoretical. I am almost 60 years old, and I've decided it is time for me to be the adult in the room about my own financial life. And turning on the light was a lot less dramatic than I expected. So what did turning on the light actually look like? For me, it was logging into every financial account I'd been avoiding, opening the retirement projections I'd been meaning to look at for 2 years, finding out my car insurance wasn't quite the deal I thought it was, deciding when my lease was up to buy a car, a practical car that would be paid off by the time I retired and something that could last forever. Oh, and an honest look at the difference between what is actual self-care and these pampering things that I had let get out of hand. I had treated myself enough. None of that fixed my debt, but it changed me from somebody who hoped things would work out to someone participating in how they would work out. I knew, and now I'm facing it. And yes, even right now, as I am saying these words out loud, I want to go run and take a nap, pull the covers over my head, and not think about finances ever again. But I am pushing through. And yes, there are still things that I do need to face. But this year, I'm tackling the scary world of my finances and the whole jellyfish thing, but that's its own video rant. If you're sitting in the dark with something you haven't been able to face, I just want you to know that I have found that turning on the light is not nearly as scary as sitting there in the dark was. So that's where I am, standing in the doorway, having fumbled for the light switch, flipped it on, and I think that's a great place to start. Together, we're building a life we love. This is GenX Missy. Until next time.